So this will be the last load of scrap from the old shop. And actually, if I'd had a little bit more time, there was actually a little bit more stuff there that I didn't get. Like I had a bunch of 5-gallon buckets full, at least half full of nuts, old nuts and bolts. And I had 2 big metal trash cans full of scrap and stuff like that that did not make it because I just ran out of time and space to load everything. Now when I brought this over here, there was a little bit more on the back here than there is now. Some of that stuff got offloaded, like that box there, which is full of wiring harnesses. And some other stuff that one of my customers wanted. So yeah, this is the last of it. Once I get this dumped, which there's a lot of aluminum, by the way. All this is stuff that's been building up for years at the old shop, just waiting for me to get enough to take in all at once and to make it worthwhile. And then all these bonnets here, these are all aluminum bonnets that are all just bent up and tweaked, and I kind of kept them around just in case I might try to straighten them and use them. And now I'm looking at them going, nah, they're really not as good as they definitely look better like here than they really are. Most of them, the inner structure's all bent up from being bent back and things like that, which is kind of hard to fix on those things. So once I'm done, I'll take all the weights, add everything up, and let you know how much all of it ended up weighing. So making some progress here in the shop, gotten some initial setup of how I think I want things set up. Of course, I'm sure that'll change. You know, they're still a bit clustered back here, but we do have the lift standing. It's not completely ready to go yet. I still got some shimming to do here because I ran out of shims before I do the final tightening of all the bolts, put the arms on it, and we still got to hook the electric up. And they're still a bit clustered here, but it's actually starting to look a bit more like a shop than just a warehouse that's just with everything just packed in it, which is basically what it was at first, because we were slamming stuff in here pretty fast just to go get another load. But we're getting there. I know this is all a bit of a mess at the moment, but what I got here is I got a wiring harness, rear harness, that's for a 74 Midget, and at the moment you can't get that harness. So what we did was we bought the rear harness for a 73. Now 74 has a sequential seatbelt control unit that won't allow the car to start if the seatbelts are not latched if someone's sitting in the seat. So there's extra wiring within the 74 that the 73 doesn't have. And then in 75 they got rid of the sequential seatbelt control unit, so that wiring only exists in a 74. So we got a brand new 73 harness here, and what I did was I spliced in the connectors here, soldered and heat shrunk with staggered joints here for the 74, and then I'm adding in the wires for the sequential seat belt and adding it on, and then we're going to take out the just a couple of wires here and also go back down to here that are no longer needed, because I was originally going to try to just adjust this slightly and maybe reconfigure, use one of the existing wires, and then the way it was done with an extra ground wire and stuff running through it, it turned out to be a lot easier just to do it this way. And if he doesn't want to hook up the seat belts, he doesn't have to, and the rest of this harness for all the lighting will be exactly the same, and it'll be all brand new wiring. So yeah, that's what we're doing here, and this is me cutting apart the old harness to get a couple little bits out of it. And I always keep a lot of extra stuff from used cars, because what I had was I needed this connector here for one of the seat belt sensors, and that connector was busted off the end of his wiring harness, so I had to splice in one from another car. So here's the completed harness, ready to go back to the owner so he can put it back in his car. So at least the way I've got this set up now, he can go ahead and hook up all the sequential seatbelt control stuff and it should all work as it's supposed to. Or he can also choose, if he wants, to go ahead and bypass the unit. There's 2 wires off the back at the connector for the sequential seatbelt control unit. I don't remember what color is off the top of my head. You can just cut those 2 wires, splice them together, and it bypasses the whole system. But there's one little small project done. So I got the totals of how much scrap I actually took in. Now, I never took in any whole cars, and it wasn't all automotive scrap. But my total weight of everything ended up being 14,117 pounds. And if I would have gotten all the last of the little bits of scrap that I actually left behind within the shop and those trash cans, it would have been more. So that's my total, and I still have some scrap sitting here that was left behind by the previous owner that I have to take in yet too. So I'm not going to add that to my totals, but yeah, when you let this stuff sit around for a while and you forget about certain things, it adds up after a while. All right, this is MG Rob. Later.